All right, today we're doing something a little different. We're going on a kind of digital treasure hunt, searching for some lost wisdom from way back in the golden age of advertising.
So let's just dive right in. I want you to imagine something. What if you found what you thought was a legendary book? I'm talking a key that could unlock decades of marketing genius. You're so excited. But there's a catch, of course. What if the file you finally opened looked, well, completely and utterly broken?
So, we've recently got our hands on a digital copy of a total classic, Tested Advertising Methods. And for those who don't know, this thing is considered by a lot of people to be a foundational text. It's like the original playbook, written by the absolute pioneers of the industry. We were, needless to say, so excited to dig in. But we hit a wall. Immediately.
Yeah, this is what we found. I'm not kidding. Just page after page of pure digital gibberish. It looks like the scanning process, the optical character recognition or OCR, it must have gone horribly, horribly wrong. Just a total disaster. Any of that wisdom we were so excited to find, completely, utterly unreadable. Okay, so at this point, we could have just thrown in the towel, right? Just called it a day. But come on, where's the fun in that? So we decided to look at this a different way. This wasn't a dead end. No, this was the start of an expedition. We thought, hey, could we maybe perform a kind of digital archaeology here? Could we salvage anything from these digital ruins? And with that, we put on our imaginary digital pith helmets and we got to work. The mission was simple, really. Hunt for clues, look for patterns, basically find anything that might have survived this digital decay. This whole mess actually has a name. It's called digital decay, or sometimes bit rot. And it's fascinating, but also kind of terrifying, right? It's this reminder that all our digital information, it's not permanent. It can degrade, file formats can become obsolete, and all that knowledge can just get lost. Poof, just like an ancient scroll turning to dust. Okay, so we couldn't just stare at the mess. We needed a plan. A simple one, step 1. Scan the whole document for any kind of recurring patterns. Step 2, try to isolate any little clusters of characters that were somehow still legible. And then finally, step 3, see if those tiny fragments could, just maybe, point us toward the book's core message. Our first find was this, FTNU. I know, right? Intriguing for a second, but ultimately meaningless. It's kind of like finding a single unlabeled button at an archaeological dig. You have no idea what it does or what it was ever for. And then we found this. Iggy. Again, it's this little piece of data that feels like it should mean something, but it tells us absolutely nothing. It's like finding a single shard of pottery. I mean, sure, it proves something was here, but it doesn't tell you a thing about what that something actually was. So, after finding a few more fragments just like that one, VZNV, we came to a really frustrating conclusion. The main body of the text, the actual chapters, the paragraphs, the good stuff, it just seemed to be a total lost cause. The wisdom was just gone. Or so we thought. Right when we were about to just give up, close the file for good, we noticed something. It was like a ghost in the machine. One single piece of information that had somehow survived all that digital decay perfectly. So think about it for a second. In this entire ocean of digital noise and garbled text, what do you think was the one single thing that managed to survive without a single error? Any guesses? The title, Tested Advertising Methods. That was it, just sitting there. Perfect. Amidst all of that chaos, the title survived. And here's the kicker. It's not just a title. It's the entire philosophy. It's the key that unlocks absolutely everything the book was trying to say. And it turns out the entire lost manuscript can pretty much be reverse engineered just from those 3 words. See, the secret wasn't some complicated formula hidden away in all that garbled text. The secret is the testing itself. And this really gets to the heart of the matter, to the central conflict the book was all about. It's a battle, really. On one side, you got guesswork, relying on creative instinct, making assumptions, just going with what you think is going to work. But on the other side, you have testing, relying on hard data, on actual evidence, and on iterating. And the book's entire argument, the whole lost manuscript, is just this massive, powerful vote for that second column. So the amazing part is, we can basically reconstruct the entire core philosophy just from the title alone. It's all there. First, measure everything you possibly can. Second, let the data, not your ego, guide your decisions. Third, constantly iterate and improve based on real-world results. And maybe the most important rule of all, never, ever assume you know best. Test it. You have to test it.
Okay, but you might be thinking, hold on, this book was written decades ago. We're talking print ads and direct mail. So why should any of this matter now in the age of social media and AI? Well, it turns out it might matter now more than ever.
Just take a look at this. The tested methods they were using back then, they have direct one-to-one modern equivalents. That old split-run newspaper ad, that was just an early version of the digital A/B testing we do today. Those mail-in coupons people used to cut out, that was basically the original form of conversion tracking. The principles are completely identical. It's only the technology that's changed. And that, right there, is the ultimate lesson we managed to salvage from that completely corrupted file. The specific tools we use, the platforms, the file formats, the whole shebang, they will all eventually suffer from digital decay. They're all going to become obsolete one day. But that underlying principle, the scientific method, forming a hypothesis, testing it, and then learning from the data, that is absolutely timeless.
So all of this leaves us with one last question to think about. In a world that is just constantly, rapidly changing, what are the core, timeless principles that guide what you do? Because, as we've just seen, sometimes the most powerful ideas are the ones that survive, even when the original text is completely lost. Something to think about. Thanks for joining us.